Hi there. My name's Lesley Crook. I'm an MVP of 8 years, and I'm going to be sharing with you the Viva Wayfinder for a guiding, thriving new employee journey. A little bit more about me rather than just saying I'm an MVP. So I am the founder of the Viva Explorers, and I think you probably come across many of them that are presenting today at Teams Nation, and we are now the Viva Explorers with Copilot. And this is where you can find me. So I've got, I'm known as the Viva Visionary. I was the first of the Viva Explorers. There's now nearly 100 of us. I've already posted out on LinkedIn today some useful links that I mentioned within this session. So you might want to go and have a look at that later on. I'll point out which ones I put on LinkedIn in a post about my session. I'm very much all about AGCAR, so that's the Adoption and Change Management Framework. I actually just started a new job at Trustmark in the UK, a UK partner, on Monday, and I'm there as the Adoption and Change Management Lead, and I'm really looking forward to working with them. So this is Microsoft Viva. This with Copilot. But for the purposes of what I'm going to share with you in the next 40 minutes, I'm just blanking out, excuse me, Viva Glint and Viva Pulse, because part of this solution, it doesn't include Glint and Pulse, but it does include answers in Viva and skills in Viva. I'm not going to go through any of these at this point because I end up going into a danger zone, because each one of these could be a workshop in itself that could be 1 or 2 hours, particularly Viva Insights. But the feature, so these are product areas: Viva Goals, Viva Engage, Viva Amplify, Connections, Learning, Topics and Insights. And within those product areas, there are features. So Answers in Viva sits between Viva Engage and Viva Topics. And the one that I have put in dotted arrows is the one that I'm going to focus on today, or start off with, is Skills in Viva. Excuse me. So this is actually in private preview at the moment, and I'll give you a little bit more information about where Microsoft are with skills in Viva as we go along. This is one of the links that I have shared out on LinkedIn. So this was the first time that Skills in Viva was announced by Microsoft, and this was a Microsoft Ignite on November the 29th. Let me just put my laser pen on here. So on November the 29th, John Miguel gave a brilliant presentation with someone from SAP around upcoming skills in Viva. So I've put a link to that, as I said, on LinkedIn, so you might want to go and watch that session. And I've been, John has been absolutely lovely with me. He's been giving me updates on where they are with skills in Viva. Oops. There we go. This is the other link that I've shared out on my LinkedIn post, and this is called a white paper that was published by Microsoft called Solving the Talent Equation: How Organizations Can Attract and Nurture the Talent Required to Fill the Digital Skills Gap. And there's a link here, and as I said, you might want to have a look at that white paper. And then I'm going to show this very quick video, which gives you a quick overview of where Microsoft are going with the LinkedIn graph and the Microsoft graph. So hopefully this will work okay. Probably be a bit loud.
Tap into talent with skills in Microsoft Viva. A talent gap can affect your ability to execute on your company's strategic priorities. Time to recruit. Or is it? It's likely you have employees with the abilities and expertise you need, but you just don't know it. And there are others interested in upskilling and reskilling. All you need is a way to find them. Uncover the hidden expertise in your enterprise with Skills in Viva. Skills combines 2 powerful data layers from Microsoft. Microsoft Graph provides access to data stored across Microsoft 365 services, including signals about employee activity. LinkedIn Skills Graph leverages aggregated real-time signals to map how 39,000 unique skills relate to each other, to jobs, and to learning content. Using these signals and tags, Skills in Viva applies AI reasoning to infer employee expertise and send information to Viva and Microsoft 365 experiences. Envision surfacing insights into top and missing skills in your organization to identify opportunities for agile talent and hiring. Now picture your line of business managers using the same data to build learning paths targeted at employees who are fulfilling roles that need the skills. And your employees? They can confirm inferred skills on profile cards and search for others who have the right expertise to help accelerate a project. Bridge the talent gap with skills in Microsoft Viva.
Michael, was there terrible feedback during that?
No, all good.
Oh, good. It was just in my headset then because it was dreadful. Okay, so there's a lot that is going on in that video, and that's why I've shared it again for you to have another look at. You need to watch it about 5 times to get your head around it. But basically, where Microsoft are, as I understand it, going, they've got skills which are added to when someone is a hiring manager or HR manager and they're putting out a job role. So this is the template that they would use. So we probably don't see this very often. And they can add skills here, which are these down here. And then from the point of view of how you see this as within a job that's that you might be trying to apply for. So in an example here, this is obviously a fake account. And then the skills that are coming up as a match maybe for a new job, there's 4 out of 10 skills here. So this is actually how this works at the moment. This is very much on LinkedIn, and you can add skills in to your own profile, and then this helps with the algorithms of what jobs are being suggested to you. This is how it's going to look, as I understand it, on your Teams profile. So let me just go back. I'll flick back, because it comes up quite quickly. So this is a Teams profile. On this particular example I was given by John, it's showing goals, Viva Goals, but I'm not sure whether that will show. But pulling through as time goes on, once this becomes GA, your skills that are out on your LinkedIn profile will come through and pull through onto your Teams profile. And then this is an example of a report from with a company that's got 1,240 people. So this is showing a report this is where Viva Insights come in. And the skills that we're looking at here for this particular company for a particular job is employees with looking for skills around machine learning. So this can help the organizational development area of a company look at what skills, what level of skills are going on in that organization. So think about it this way, that it's not just about looking for new people to join your organization, but what level of skills is actually inside of the organization, and how you might create a learning program to upskill people that are already in your business. This is where you can bring in Viva Amplify. So this is a little kind of video here that I received from John, and it's showing how you might create a campaign to, oops, hang on a minute, it starts and then it stops. So to create a campaign on how to look for new skills inside the business, or the skills that they particularly needed. So for this one here, introduction to generative AI from basics to applications, and based on your saved skills, it's looking at, you've got problem solving, AI, change management, and data visualization, but it's looking at the skills that you might need to upskill on to make it appropriate for you to maybe take part in that project team, or actually apply for a role. And I think on there as well, it jumped past it quite quickly. It should have shown it coming up in how it would look on once this goes out as a Viva Amplify campaign. It would then go out to how it would look on your how you would see it on your in your Outlook calendar. Sorry, as an Outlook email. Oh, there it is. Sorry, it did jump. So there it is. It's showing once you open it, takes you into learning from your Outlook calendar, but that keeps jumping, so I'm sorry about that. So that is kind of like an introduction to me being a Viva visionary, around me getting very excited about what you actually can't do at the moment. But for the purposes of going forward with this presentation around what is Viva Wayfinder, I'm going to step forward, and for now we're going to look at the whole of Viva for this. So I've just taken you back to the whole of the framework. And as we understand it, how this has been positioned since Viva was born, 20 months ago, Microsoft frame it as the employee experience. But that term has been around in the HR sector for quite a long time, but it's been quite new to IT and I think the whole of business. So as we understand it, or as I understand it, the employee experience starts from when a person has been onboarded. Then you're going to look at kind of like, how they engage with an organization, how they learn, how you develop them, and maybe hopefully they're going to be there for a long time, but equally they might be under probation for 3 months and it might not work out, so they might leave. But I think we've all gone through this section here, probably quite a few times in our careers. But let's look at what actually Viva is against what I've tried to find out as the competitors of Viva, and no one has challenged me on this, and I have shared this presentation quite a few times now. So this is the logo for the whole of the Viva suite, and we've got here Oracle Fusion Cloud, and that steps into right from the onboarding process right through to having an intranet. It has elements of social networking in there, and there's a blog here that was written by Oracle about probably around about the time that Microsoft launched Viva, and it said companies need a complete employee experience, but Microsoft does not deliver. But that was written quite a while ago. And then another one that you would think about is a competitor of Viva is actually Staffbase. So this is a direct competitor of Viva Amplify, and the reason it's a good option is because you don't need an email address, you just need a phone number. So this is particularly interesting and helpful for frontline workers. But let's have a look at what Viva has surrounding it. So it's got, obviously it sits on Teams, it's got the bedrock of SharePoint, it's got Copilot, it's got Dynamics 365, it's got Azure, it's got now, well, for quite a long time, LinkedIn's been owned by Microsoft. We've got SAP SuccessFactors. It's you can integrate SAP and Workday and ServiceNow. You can bring in probably the Power Platform, and that all comes under the same security, compliance and governance, and is all managed by the same M365 admin center, where these great companies, the competitors, they have separate subscriptions, they've got separate licenses. But this is why we are MVPs and we are the evangelists of Microsoft products. So we're now, I think, looking at going forward with skills in Viva and the fact of bringing skills into the employee experience. I now think we are stepping into what is known as human capital management, and human capital management runs the length of this. So it's recruiting top talent, it's about hiring, and then it's all about the departure. But it's this element here which blends in with the employee experience, which is kind of giving Viva a different context now, or going forward once we get skills in Viva going global, being globally accessible. So what is human capital management? So it's led by HR, and it converts your traditional HR into opportunities that lead to increased efficiency, and it spans workforce planning, comp and ben, recruiting, hiring, onboarding and upskilling. But then we've got this employee experience, which is around the softer side of the culture of your business. So it nurtures a positive work environment that fosters employee satisfaction, learning, engagement, productivity, and advocacy. And it's not just about making employees happy, but creating this phrase of empathetic culture where staff thrive and contribute to success. So Microsoft was very much all about thriving and empathy, and then they've launched Copilot on us, which is all about making us work as fast as possible. Which has become, very exciting in the digital employee experience. So this is known, can be known as the DEX, and this is led by IT, and that's, mostly people that are probably joining this session now. So it's all about, device and program management, enabling everyone to work mobile first and to collaborate using, teams like we're on now. But the difficulty with this Viva and employee experience is who leads on the employee experience. And this has been quite a grey area. And I think, and maybe it shouldn't be owned by anyone in particular, and that's where this should go. Just like everyone used to say when they got into Yammer, it shouldn't be owned by the comms team, it shouldn't be owned by IT, it should be owned by internal comms, HR, or internal comms, initially working with IT, but it's really HR, it's knowledge management, and possibly marketing and organizational development. So I've, over the last, probably about the last 8 months, been looking across LinkedIn, and when I've been at conferences, at where we can kind of find the roles where this is actually working really well. And I've helped to pull together some new areas. One of them is led by Liz Sunder, and this is the Microsoft Corp Comms Community Hub, and everyone is free to join that. And Liz is running a session on February the 28th at those times, those American times, and I will share out on LinkedIn when these a link to these sessions. And there's also Jamie Jamie Pierce Watson in America. Her and I have been pushing forward the adoption masterminds, and we've got a March meetup, and you can join that session. So that's on the 14th of March. So this is very much people that actually totally get how to change the employee experience, that are adoption and change managements, but sit mostly in IT, but are doing this really well. So we're finding that as I looked at the numbers yesterday, the numbers that I think Liz has got on her Corp Comms communities, there's not that many people there. It should be a lot more, and equally adoption masterminds, I think it's maybe less than, maybe Liz has got maybe, I don't know, 200-300 people, and maybe Jamie's now got maybe about, I don't know, 50 people. I can't remember what the numbers were, but it should be hundreds and hundreds of people should be getting involved in these communities. And there's also this one that Michael's actually been, Moretta have been very much behind, and this is the Microsoft adoption community. So you're all welcome to join that. And you can see here we've got 78 members, and I took that screen grab yesterday. So there's another one which we really encourage people to join if they are, keen on nurturing the employee experience inside your business. So just to close off this section about this very new thing called Skills in Viva, it's in private preview since the end of last year. I've been told by John McGill, who's the product leader within Microsoft, that it's possibly going to go GA at the end of this year. And as you've already seen, it's spanning the LinkedIn graph, Viva Insights and Viva Learning, and the Microsoft graph, all part of that. So going into Viva Wayfinder, this is we're going to focus now on that you will see answers in Viva. It doesn't include now the skills in Viva because it doesn't actually properly exist yet. And I'm going to take you, I think that video that's coming up next. Yeah, so this is my idea of what the Wayfinder is, and it's a metaphor of an ancient Pacific Islander navigation method. And by using a deep understanding of the ocean and using a wide range of skills, these Pacific Islanders find their way. That's what Wayfinder is. And they read the sun, the moon, and the stars, and they develop an understanding under the swell of the ocean and the changing of the tides and the warmth and speed of the wind to move their canoes. You probably think I'm nuts by now, but bear with me. And the wildlife they see indicates how close to land they are, and bring all this together, you have an amazing people doing incredible things in a thriving culture. And I like to think of this, as you'll see as I build this out for you, this is a great metaphor for the employee experience. And I'm just going to show you, I'm going to hopefully just stun you now with what I'm going to show you next. But it is a lot of fun, and I think if you have got kids, this might be quite a favourite in your family. So this is just like a minute and a half of loveliness. So here we go.
We read the wind and the sky when the sun is high. We sail the length of the seas on the ocean breeze. At night we name every star. We know where we are. We know who we are, who we are. Away, away, we set a course to find a brand new island everywhere we roll. Away, away, we keep our island in our mind. And when it's time to find home, we know the way. Away, away, we are explorers reading every sign. We tell the stories of our elders in a never-ending chain. Away, away, we know the way.
So hopefully there's still some people watching this and probably think she's gone nuts. But as you can see, it's people on a journey. There's, some people traveling, trying to find somewhere. There was even kind of like recognition going on in there where the Pacific Islander put a garland around one of the guys' necks because he's obviously done something amazing. So that is kind of like the Wayfinder metaphor that I've developed here. So taking this back a big step. So this is how Microsoft has guided us, and it's very, very good on a new boarding experience. So this is the guidance that they've given us to kind of lay out a SharePoint area. So map the onboarding experience. So you establish an onboarding timeline, scope and define the most important content, determine the priority of training, and create a personalized training experience and collect feedback along the way. So I've just so that you know I'm not completely nuts, this is the feedback that I have received around what I'm going to show you next. So this is actually from John Miguel in, I think this was in mid-November. So he just said, I love this engaging Viva ecosystem storytelling using a simple Wayfinder metaphor, and starting in my product group with skills in Viva and throughout the Viva platform with our new Copilot and AI experiences. We're excited to extend the Viva benefits into human capital management and beyond, which is what I said, we're going in that direction. So navigating the HR stack can be a challenge, and Viva Wayfinder is a great approach to simplify a traditionally complex ecosystem. And then we've got lovely Vesa, who many of you probably know because he's so brilliant in the community. So he said, Wayfinder is a great use case that showcases the benefit of Microsoft Viva's integrated modules, illustrates how Viva can improve the employee experience using technology to achieve our goals, and in this case, the new hire journey. So moving forward, this is a out-of-the-box SharePoint template, and it's on employee onboarding. So I've used this as part of my solution. So anyone can get that template, and then you just customize it for however you want it to be for your particular company. This is another option, but you can highly recommend that you do both. So this is what Viva looks like once you switch it all on and you've got the full Viva suite. I think here, yeah, I added the Viva Wayfinder as a web part, but you'll see more of that in a second. So you've got pretty much everything here that's laid out for you as an end user. You just see the the products that are relevant to you. So for this is probably someone that works in maybe communications. They can see Amplify, Engage, Glint, and Goals, but they're not seeing everything because you just see what you need to see because it's audience segmentation on how it works. So this is how it plays out on a tenant that I built this out on a CDX tenant. So everything I'm going to show you, it all absolutely works, but I've just given you some screen grabs here. Did I do that? Oh yeah, there we go. So we've got Viva Wayfinder. That's when I can say that it's being launched to the company. And again, if you're in a big organization, it might be useful as well that this is not just for new hires, it might be for people as well that are changing roles and going to completely different areas of the business. Like someone might work in manufacturing and then they might go and work in R&D or something like that. And then I've also got created this new hire Wayfinder web part there. So it's kind of like, it's that idea of this star effect. And I'll go more into what the star effect is about. So here we go. So I've taken that Wayfinder metaphor from Disney and I've put a bit more kind of nice cultural words around it. So this is for the first day of that new hire. So you're finally here and you're probably wondering what to do next. So start with the stars, and here we go, we've got stars all around here. Our objectives and key results in Viva Goals, and then discover our amazing people and their wildlife, and in Viva Connections, Viva Engage, and answers on Viva. And the wildlife works quite well here because lots of people, when they get into Yammer, Viva Engage, they love sharing pictures of their pets. And then dive into oceans of deep transferable knowledge in Viva Topics, and then feast on flora and fauna for growth and upskilling in Viva Learning, and rise with the sun, then end your day with the moon for thriving work balance in Viva Insights. And just follow your Wayfinder planner tasks. So I included planner in here as well, and have a good look around this page to discover our work ethics and how we do things around here. I've included in here a link to Viva Learning, and you'll see more about that in a second. It was out of the box learning to ensure that everyone gets up to the same level as quickly as possible on the technology inside the business. So it's all very well, you get a new starter and they have to start doing courses around because I've just done my modern slavery course in my new job, and how to pick up a box correctly and things like that. And I probably won't be carrying boxes at work and tripping over things. But yeah, desk assessments and things like that are really, really relevant. And it's all relevant. It's all, getting everyone on that same page and, being compliant and everything. But it should be also about ensuring that, your employees understand how teams work, how you log on, and, when to use Teams channels over chat, and the basics of Microsoft 365 and Teams. I think that's really important as well. And then yes, that's employee onboarding. This is the other half of that screen, and you've got here how we do things around here, so you can add in some lovely stuff about our leadership, onboarding checklist, and other nice things. So it's simple to build out. So Viva Wayfinder, you might recognize this framework, but I have reordered this. So this is my version of this, and I start with purpose and I go connections, insights, and growth for that kind of idea of the new hire and the Viva Wayfinder. So I've already mentioned it before. So we've got the first thing I think that you need to do when you're onboarding a new hire into your business is allow them to understand the reason they're going to exist inside your company, and equally the reason why the company exists and the teams that sit within that business. So you could take them through your objectives and key results, OKRs in Viva Goals. I mean, what we found around Viva Goals is the most difficult thing is actually establishing your OKRs in your business. This is not your personal development plan. That's something, something that's personal to you. But with your objectives and key results, that is something within a team of people that is aligned to why the company exists by your leaders. So I think, as soon as possible, start there and have that one-to-one with your boss. And then you can introduce them pretty quickly to Viva Connections, because that's basically all over this, and introduce them to Viva Engage, get them to introduce themselves on Viva Engage. If you've got a pet, share a picture of your dog or your cat, because everyone loves that. Yeah, it's about sharing that broader, that enterprise wide kind of like culture within inside your business. Teams is where you get your work done, where you work with people on a regular basis, but often you're working in a company maybe with thousands of people, and you've got, obviously you're going to have things in common with those people around the business, but you might never meet them. And I'm very much for the philosophy of working out loud, which is sharing your work with a view other people might find, sharing your work and ideas with a view that other people might find your ideas or work helpful, but equally other people might help you improve your work. And I've done over the last 8 years, in the MVP world and working in the partner program, I've created a lot of content, and that's what we're expected to do for being an MVP, but things can always be improved upon. So I'm looking forward to sharing my work with my new colleagues, and seeing how what I've done before can now definitely be improved with different parts of the Microsoft 365 stack, including Copilot and Power Platform and Power Apps. So I'm looking forward to see how my work can take on, get new legs and arms. Then we can look at Viva, introduce them to Viva Insight, so help new team members spend time productively and avoid burnout, and get them past that 3-month probation period where they might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Switch on the Viva Insights email, so that first thing in the morning you can see, give you that prompt, a bit like, I suppose, which is probably end up as a Copilot prompt that starts off your day. The meetings that you've got coming up, tasks that you haven't yet completed that might be sitting in planner, and then at the end of the day you get another prompt about what's going to happen in the next 12 hours. Make sure that you're prepared for your day ahead. And then we've got the growth area of Viva Learning, and you can target specific training for new employees. You can bring in any LMS that's already exists within your organization, because Viva Learning is a LXP. It's that kind of portal above all of the learning, got LinkedIn Learning in there and all sorts of other great products in there. And you also got the big hairy beast, Viva Topics, which we think will be picked up probably by Copilot and be more dynamic, because Viva has been a bit clunky, I think, to manage. But I put under here in red skills in Viva and answers in Viva, because answers in Viva sits between Viva Engage and Viva Topics, and I run a whole session around that. And then Viva skills in Viva sits between Viva Insights and Viva Learning, as I've already explained at the beginning. So this is where we walk through this Wayfinder. So we go into Viva Goals. That's what kind of like that looks like, and that's accessible from the left rail of Teams. But equally, you could have it built out as a web part on your Viva Connections page. Whatever makes it easy and accessible. Then put these things in different places. And then here we've got, this left rail has got really crowded. So that's why Microsoft have developed that Viva Connections homepage, because this has just got too busy. So here we are on Viva Engage, the full suite, of course. And here we've got answers in Viva, and here I've got, I think my next click is showing the topic. So you can't make a post within answers in Viva Engage without adding a topic. So if you look at kind of like some of the questions and answers that I put here, what's the guidance for cleaning new uniforms? Where can I get safety equipment? What's the annual factory shutdown? So this was very much focused on manufacturing, factory frontline workers, and the easiest way to get this up and running really quickly is to ask, kind of, maybe depending on the size of your business, go out to subject matter experts and say, what's the most frequently 3 asked questions that you get from people that you hire in quite quickly. And maybe it's an organization where the they might be temporary staff that maybe only come in for the summer or something like that. This is a really great resource, and it's front loads using topics really quickly. So you can add in a new, ask a new question, but the only way that you will get this published is you have to add a topic. So you can add a new topic, you've got to fill out the description, or you can search for other topics that already exist. And also works really well with Copilot because it will prompt of anything else that's it will prompt around the subject matter, maybe documentation or questions that have been asked before. So then we move on to and then topics to follow, and then we go into Viva Learning. So here I've put in the 6 simple steps to welcome to Microsoft 365. So this is as I said, for that new hire, just some simple quick short tutorials to watch to get them up to speed. Collaborative leadership, essentials of team collaboration. So that, yeah, there's some really great stuff there that's already created in Viva Learning. And then we've got here Viva Insight, so looking at your focus time, how are you feeling? But I think this is the kind of the important stuff down here. It's making sure that you're not burning out, that you're putting time in your calendar to get your work done and having that deep focus time. But equally, as we know, Viva Insights, is going to be so super powered. I think with Copilot on, pushing out, tasks that you haven't completed yet, which is pulling from your Outlook calendar. It's pulling from the semantics in your emails to keep you in good check, that you're not missing anything that you should be working on. So Viva Wayfinder meets the users where they are. So employees, as we know, we're all pretty mobile. We've got very good phones. We're all pretty quite sociable on online, and quite comfortable about dipping into different networks and things. And employees like bite-sized pieces of information, because they haven't got a very all of us, we can't sit too long and listen to videos that are too long, or read anything that's too long. So we've got to have kind of like nice snippets of information. So this is how it looks out on the Viva Wayfinder, how it looks out on your on the mobile phone. And then this is where I bring in planner to do. So this is for the hiring manager, and it's a repeatable process. So for that first when that new hire joins, so the hiring manager can set up the first task for them, and that is basically to go through the Wayfinder checklist. So as we've got here, start with the stars and your objectives and key results in Viva Goals, and discover amazing people. Go on to Viva Engage and introduce yourself, then go on to remind yourself, go on to Viva Learning. And of course, it's a checklist here, so that could be nicely checked off. And then I've also included here Loop. So on that first day or the second day, because you're obviously going to have a chat with your new hire on that first day, probably over Teams. I've added in here, there's Loop, but that is just hiding what it's about. This is actually Loop. So I've Megan here has contacted her new hire, and she's added in a link to Planner with Loop. So everything is nice and neat. And equally, once that comes to an end, that assignment has ended by, they're given maybe a week or 2 weeks to complete those Wayfinder tasks, then Megan can quite easily manage her onboarding by adding another and assigning someone else and giving them another date. So it's all kind of like nice and neat, easy process for the hiring manager. So the Viva Wayfinder hiring manager recurring actions. So the first one is a huge one, but I'm saying here that you could probably do this if you use it through ServiceNow, but every company's probably got slightly different ways of doing this. So there's that big IT request of the new hardware, the email and the password, and you could do that, just have that one screen of Teams. You were not going out to any other programs or logging in anywhere else. You're just going through that front end of Teams. Then you assign the new hire or a new job role to Planner Wayfinder tasks and adjust the start and end date. And then, as I just showed you, send the team's welcome chat with loop to the assigned Planner Wayfinder tasks. This was just kind of like an idea that I had of the branding for this, but it could be, you just match it perhaps to your own branded guidelines and redesign as appropriate. It doesn't have to be this 5-pointed star, but it just kind of works quite well for what I was trying to get across with the Viva products that were in the suite. That just happened to be that it worked out quite neatly that there were 5 products that I was referring to. And just to close off the presentation, so my vision is, and it's just such an obvious vision, that with the blended AI features, the new hire journey will become recommendations and prompts from Copilot. So probably what I've mapped out will be what the new hire will probably say to the hiring manager will say to their new hire on that day one, put in, Wayfinder, say you're a new hire, and they will automatically get a whole list back of basically what they need to accomplish in the next 2 weeks. Just by visionary thinking, that's the way it might go. So yeah, to build this out to deploy this across the business, you need to be using ADKAR. Otherwise it just won't go anywhere. But that is a whole other session or workshop that I can run around basically how to use ADKAR in digital transformation. And this was just links, a reminder to me about links that I was going to share out on LinkedIn, or if I get time, I'll put it actually in the chat in this room as well for you. So that is the end of my session. I'm going to try and stop sharing, get back to seeing everyone. Right, hello, because I had a completely full screen. Any questions, Michael?